Shortly after the release of Star Wars, creator and legend George Lucas decided to set his sights on a different medium: video games. He founded Lucasfilm Games Group, which would later become known as LucasArts. In a strange twist, the rights to create games based on Star Wars had previously been licensed to Atari, which meant that Lucasfilm Games would need to come up with original ideas instead of relying on proven IP. Lucasfilm's very first wholly self-developed and published game came from in-house programmer Ron Gilbert. Gilbert teamed up with designer and artist Gary Winnick to develop the idea for Maniac Mansion, a B-movie horror pastiche about a group of teens in a spooky manor. Initially, the duo weren't sure exactly how to execute the idea, with early concepts being implemented as a pencil and paper board game. Then one day, Gilbert was introduced to the groundbreaking graphic adventure King's Quest, and he realized that the adventure genre would be the best fit for the project. In spite of his inspirations, Gilbert was determined to do Maniac Mansion better than King's Quest and other graphic adventures of the time. He did away with cumbersome text inputs, replacing them with on-screen verbs, paired with an intuitive point-and-click interface. He also worked to eliminate dead ends and frustrating game overs, although a few still remained that the testers didn't catch. In order to make his vision come to life, he even developed an entirely new engine, entitled Script Creation Utility for Maniac Mansion, or SCUM for short. With its edgy sense of humor, rich, full-color graphics, multi-solution puzzles, and accessible interface, Maniac Mansion set the template for every adventure game that followed, with Gilbert's SCUM engine being used to develop all of Lucasfilm's efforts in the 80s and 90s. This is the one that put Lucasfilm on the map as a software company, establishing them as a worthy rival to Sierra. And so today, we choose ourselves as the two characters to accompany Dave as we attempt to rescue Sandy from the clutches of Dr. Ed and an evil meteor in Maniac Mansion. It's a video game podcast.
Wow.
And there's so much to discuss. One of us knows all about them.
That's you.
And the other one's a dunce.
That's me.
You're gonna learn about the very best games with two annoying dorks.
Fatality.
From asteroids to Zelda, from adventure to Zork. We have no life, and we feel no shame. We need your help, 'cause we're bad with games. Bad with games. Welcome to the show! My name is Jonathan.
My name's Will.
And we are Bad with Games.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Are you excited for today, John?
I don't know, why are you singing a song?
I don't know. It just felt like the thing to do.
Yep, you know I'm excited because today on the show we're covering Maniac Mansion, which was released for computer systems in 1987. And, we're recording a day late because Will needed an extra day, but that's okay. None of us are holding that against him.
Yeah, I mean, if you ruin the episode over it, that's your fault. But you know,
I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying it's actually fine.
right?
I'm
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
okay with
and
it.
yeah, because nobody will even. It won't matter because you won't
Exactly
ruin it. so-
Exactly. If I hadn't have said anything, no one would even know.
Yeah.
Only I would have known.
Right.
But now everybody knows. But everybody also knows it's okay.
Well, they'll find out if it's okay by listening to the episode.
This show is about it's about inclusivity, and it's about understanding and tolerance.
Okay.
Those are the key principles of the show, and those are things that I try to inhabit in my
where are you
relationship with you.
going with this?
I'm just saying I'm trying to demonstrate that
Okay.
Somebody can make mistakes or be a bad person.
I thought you were
and
maybe
give
going to
them a
tie that
second
back
chance.
into the game.
What game? Oh, Maniac Mansion?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
not at this time. Maniac Mansion, it's a point-and-click adventure game from LucasArts. I don't know. They were
You
Lucasfilm
don't?
when it came out. They were LucasArts later, and,
Oh.
and now they're not called LucasArts anymore now.
Huh.
So it's really who knows who made this game.
Yeah, I just thought it was LucasArts, and I was like, well, I would just assume you would know for sure, but
No, they were Lucasfilm Games at the time.
hmm.
And then they were LucasArts for like 20 years. And now I think I think they went back. I think now they're
That are
Lucasfilm again.
just Lucas now.
They should just be Lucas Games. They shouldn't be Lucas at all, because George Lucas just was like, hey, what if I made money off of video games and then did fuck all? I don't think he had anything to do with any of this shit.
It's got his name on it. You know what?
They used his
As a
ranch.
Star Wars head.
They
I'm
did
buying it.
the headquarters for LucasArts was on Skywalker Ranch.
Damn, that's
So-
actually really cool. So this game was made on Skywalker Ranch, or I
My
guess
friend, not only was this game made on Skywalker Ranch, the titular mansion was based on the main house on Skywalker Ranch.
Holy shit! So
To the
what
point where,
you are
yes.
telling me
yeah,
is that Dr. Fred is based on George Lucas.
it's very possible.
Okay, I'm learning things.
Yeah, many of the rooms in this game are, well, I don't know about many, but some of the rooms in the game are actually like direct recreations of real rooms in the house.
Wow,
Pretty
Now,
cool.
people might not know what these rooms mean or any of this. We will explain it, but suffice it to say, there's a mansion in Maniac Mansion, and
Yeah, of
we're talking
course.
about that mansion.
If you want to get a glimpse of what this game looks like and you're unfamiliar, if you're listening, you can always watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/@badwithgames. You can also check out our sister channel @worse-with-games. We just put up for the main public our 2-player Street Fighter 2 gameplay, so you can check that out if you're so inclined, among other things over there. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/badwithgames. We do bonus episodes every week on additional video game and video game adjacent projects. And you can email us, badwithgamespodcast@gmail.com, if you have any thoughts or feedback on the games we discuss. But back to the show, Maniac Mansion, 1987. What a time. What a time it was back then.
Was it?
2 years before we were born. You know?
Okay. That's it. I guess that's the only relevant thing, right? I wasn't around yet, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
That's really all
Yeah.
that was. Place this for me in the video games timeline. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is a point and click game, adventure game.
Right.
You would call it that? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, relative to the games that we have already played in this genre or adjacent, for example, King's Quest, when does this one come out? Remind me.
Right. So this is we have been playing these in roughly sequential order. All the way
Ish.
from the original text adventures to now. Well, I mean, a sequential order, but I guess that is accurate. I just mean we haven't been playing. We've been skipping some. It's not like we've played literally every adventure game that came out. We've just hit the big ones. We've started with Colossal Cave Adventure and Zork. We made our way up to King's Quest in 1984. And now this is 3 years later, 1987. Now, the version that we played for the show is, in fact, the 1989 MS-DOS edition of the game, which they cleaned up some of the graphics and things here and there. So that's what you'll be seeing on YouTube, but it's largely the same game.
Okay. But 84 to 87 is actually a pretty big jump. That does help give me some idea of, like, because even just playing this, it's very clear to me that we have advanced far beyond King's Quest in terms of what we are capable of programming and making our computers do.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it helps to have some sense of the timeline in that.
Also, there are, at this time there were 3 King's Quests as well.
Okay.
So
Yes.
King's Quest
Right.
advanced beyond King's Quest.
No, I mean this makes sense. Everything was coming out so fast at that point. It does not surprise me to learn that.
Right. Now, so this is the farthest progression we've seen with this genre. In fact, it really is the first true point and click adventure game,
Mhm.
because it really is the first one that had pointing and clicking.
Yes.
Two, you'd think, sort of major components of the genre.
Yeah, I think I did not do this, but I think you could play this game with exclusively a mouse.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, there
Yes.
are keyboard shortcuts, and I've used them in combination with the mouse,
Sure, sure.
but yes, I did think that, which was not the case for any of these other games, right? You did need to actually hit, like, buttons to use commands.
Right. Well, the biggest factor here is that they eliminated the need for the keyboard because you no longer need to type in your text
Right.
inputs. Uh,
Exactly.
you now have a set of 12 verbs at the bottom of the screen, such as open, unlock, use,
Mhm.
fix.
Mhm.
You know, the standard things you need in everyday life. And you click on one of those, then you click on an object, and there you go. Now, it is true that when this game came out, some people still didn't have a mouse. You could also
Yes.
just use the arrow keys or the number pad to move
Mhm.
around your cursor. And this also was later ported to the NES, where it would have used the D-pad, of course. There was no mouse attachment for the NES. Super Nintendo there was. Anyway,
Yes.
so pretty big shift. I mean, we've covered our history with these kinds of games already, as we just went over. We've kind of gone through multiple adventure games at this point. But is there anything that you feel you need to add in terms of our lore for yourself for this week's game?
Um, no, I don't think so. I have never heard of this game before. I did not know what this was or where it was. I have heard of the game Day of the Tentacle even before we started our podcast, right? You may have mentioned this one earlier and I just forgot it. I don't know. And it like there are tentacles in this game and I was like, "Oh, that's probably from that." Or like go I guess you know what I mean. The tentacle from Day of the Tentacle is probably from this. Um but yes, I've not really played much in the way of these point and clicks and I have not heard of this one in particular.
Yeah, I mean, Day of the Tentacle. I don't know if this was different on in different releases, but I'm pretty sure it was actually called Maniac Mansion: Day of the
Oh,
Tentacle.
interesting. Okay.
But that may have been something they dropped later on. So this is you've never played a LucasArts adventure game
I
before,
don't believe so, no.
and I mean, you had never played a Sierra one either. So King's
Yeah.
Quest was that. Now you're seeing sort of the other side of the coin, so to speak.
I I don't feel
Huh?
like that's the case. I feel like we're early enough in the genre and 3 years is such a big time gap that I right now to me it feels like what I'm seeing is a progression in the technology and the um standard like thought process, like how do you design these games, right? Like this is an evolution of the genre. um I feel like I would need to see a contemporary Sierra game to feel like maybe I have seen both sides of the coin and I'm just not interpreting them correctly, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're more correct, but I know where both sides are
Hmm.
headed, so I can sort of it's easier for me to see where they differentiate, and we'll talk about. I think you will see and probably have seen where they differentiate, and we'll get into it. But certainly for anyone who listened to my intro, the creators of this game, Ron Gilbert, was he played King's Quest, and that was what inspired him to make Maniac Mansion an adventure game. But he specifically had a few points where he said, I can do things better than what King's Quest did." So there very much was like from the beginning, a general, like, kind of the genesis of the design philosophy of LucasArts adventure games was really in opposition to Sierra's adventure games.
Okay.
Um, Not necessarily in a mean spirited way, just that
Right,
are
right.
like, well, that's not how we're going to do
Yeah.
ours.
In competition with, maybe, to be nicer. But yeah,
Sure.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. I've said
Okay.
it before. I'm a huge fan of these LucasArts point and click games. The original Maniac Mansion that we played is one that I hadn't played all the way through before. It is early enough. There's still some rough edges here. And I think it's really, I'm not sure if Monkey Island is actually the next one, but I think it maybe is. But I feel like Secret of Monkey Island is the one where it's really like, okay, this is the real, more or less fully formed. Everything's clicking here. They've figured out what they were doing. They've polished it up. Maniac Mansion is still a little bit in that funky 80s space of, like you said, we're still kind of trying to figure out how to make these games.
Hmm.
But it's close. It's closer than we've ever been before. Um, and I guess there's plenty more I can say, but I guess I'll save it for the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. One other thing that I maybe could have brought up earlier, but I'd like to slot it in right off the bat, is that another game that uses these like one button keyboard commands for words is, of course, Ultima.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I actually had a couple of issues controlling this game where I would go to press the key that started with the letter of the word that I wanted to use rather than the actual, because in this game, they lay out all the words you can use in a grid, right? So it's like 5 words, 3 lines, right? And you just press on the QWERTY on the right line and the right number of words over. But I would just have this problem. I'd be like, oh, I want to unlock, that's U. I want to read, that's R. And then I'd have to be like, oh, wait, no, I fucked it up. Because and that's definitely Ultima training me to to do this
You're a
differently.
freak.
What
Something's wrong with you.
why? What is wrong with you? Get out of your mood. That's a funny story, and it's completely understandable.
No, yeah, no, it's funny. I'm just saying you're a bit of a freak. That's all.
You need to get a better attitude. Is what needs
So
to
you
happen
were.
here.
I didn't even know this was. I need you to explain this because I did
Yeah.
use only mouse
Oh,
controls
okay.
because I have a mouse. Did you so like you're saying like when you wanted to do a thing you just pressed a letter?
Yeah. So, for example, like if I wanted to unlock a padlock, right, with a key, I would press, I think it was R because it was the fourth one over on the first row. And then I would click the
Oh.
thing I wanted to unlock, and then I would press the letter that corresponded to where it was in my inventory. Because over on the other side, you have your inventory, and it shows 4 things at a time, and there's an up and down arrow. And if you press a key corresponding to like one of those 4 slots, and they're just then you pick that, right? And you have other keys that use the arrows up and down. So
This
that's
was
how I was
better to
doing
you
it.
than just using your touchpad to like scroll around?
To go up and down, yeah, between all of them. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. I liked it.
Sounds
It might have been
weird.
slower, but I kind of liked it.
Like I said, freak. I had no idea you could even do this. I thought you just had to use the mouse or arrow keys to move the cursor. I thought it was all cursor. The only one I knew you could do, the one I used was to switch between kids. You could do F1, 2, and 3, which was much easier than
Yeah.
clicking the kids around.
What's funny is that's the one that I ended up using the
Oh
mouse
my
for more.
god.
Well, the reason for this is because my keyboard, the F keys are all like functions on other things, so like they're not like single button presses to do. You know what I mean?
Can't you change that to make it so like a toggle or something? So you have to like press Control F or something to do that. I don't know.
Like to use the other function, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. Whatever. It was fine.
Oh my god. This is just. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. As long as you're fine with it, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't really see what the problem is. Like you did it your way because your keyboard is and mouse are laid out different, and that was easier. I did it a different way because it was easier for me, so it was fine.
It just doesn't sound easier. It just sounds harder to me.
Well,
Why do you hate a mouse so much? Why do you hate cursors? Or is it the touchpad? Do you just
yeah,
hate your touchpad?
I don't hate my touchpad. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think if I had a real mouse, it would have been even better because I could have had one hand
Well,
doing
no
the mouse
kidding.
clicking and the other hand doing the commands.
Yes, of
So,
course.
so you would
Yes.
have been. It would have just been like, and they wouldn't have been in each other's way. So you could have been like blindingly fast with it if you actually knew the commands. But I wasn't that good with it. But I think
Well,
you
it's
could
not
be.
like, I mean, unless you're speed running Maniac Mansion, I don't think you need to be blindingly
Well,
fast.
maybe I get bored.
Okay. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that's a thing in later games because everybody had a mouse. I
Mhm.
don't know that there were keyboard shortcuts, but it has never occurred to me to try. So maybe there is.
Well, we'll see if we play later ones. If they don't have them, I'll use the mouse for the whole thing.
Well, we always we've come to depend on your fresh perspective on things here on Bad with Games. That's what the people listen for. Before we talk more about the game itself, why don't we head over to our box art breakdown segment?
Mm-hmm.
Box art breakdown. We're breaking it down. Oh, and this is when we take a look at the box art for the game and analyze it and break it down. This week we've got Maniac Mansion, of course. That's the game. And the cover here, the original cover as depicted, features some of their teens from the game. We'll get into the story in a minute. Standing in the foreground and in the back, of course, you see the shadowy mansion up on a hill. And in the sky is the transparent, sinister, grinning face of, I guess, Dr. Fred. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be, really, but
Yeah, it doesn't really look like any of the characters. Is it the meteor?
I don't. I mean, the literal meteor is also in the sky.
I guess that's true.
I think it has to be Dr. Fred. But it
I
just it
guess
just looks
so.
like a. Well, I mean, none of them really. The
Yeah,
graphics,
that's
the art
true.
style in the game doesn't really lend itself to this art style. You can only really tell the characters, the teens, because they're so distinctive in their styles.
Yeah, they're very much like archetypes of of character types. Like these do not look like them. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is a fine box art. I'm not in love with the. It sort of looks like the kids in the front, like they're cardboard cutouts that were just pasted in after the fact.
Hmm.
They don't really blend into. They don't look like they're actually standing anywhere. They just put them on a place. I feel like the background is too blue. Like everything is just blue. It
Hmm.
doesn't. There's very little contrast. It all blends together. I guess I don't like this box art.
Yeah, the kids themselves, like ignoring how they're composed into the picture here, I do like the way that they are drawn, even if it doesn't quite match what they are in the games. Like I do think they kind of capture the spirit of like the kind of people they are here. But yeah, the whole thing doesn't give off the B-movie vibe that the game is clearly going for, right? Like, oh, a bunch of teenagers, there's a haunted mansion. Whoa, there's a crazy guy inside. Like, I don't know, it's too flat. Yeah, it's too blue. There's the mansion's just kind of over there. The teens don't really feel like they're in it. it the maniac guy here doesn't really feel he feels neither menacing nor like over the top, right? Like he's not like over the top stupid. He's just goofy, you know? Um yeah, it's a little bit bland when it should be I don't know. It should be something that you would see in a blockbuster in like the horror section as a kid and it's just and you're like, "What's that?" And it's some dumb shit that nobody's ever heard of. Right?
I
That's what
think
it
that's what they were going for. I think
Yeah,
that is what
yeah.
they wanted to do.
No, that's clearly what they wanted to do with the game, and I do think you're right. That's probably what they wanted to do with the cover, but I don't get that vibe.
I think the biggest problem is spacing. Like I think the box is
Hmm.
too big. It's weird that the face in the background is kind of small, and then there's just a lot of empty sky around it. It
Hmm.
should kind of. I feel like the face should be more zoomed in, and the kids should be zoomed in. We don't need to see their
Yeah.
full bodies.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
Yeah,
if I were imagining this, yeah, that's true. If I were imagining this as a horror cover, you probably would have more like the kids would be cut off closer to the waist and they'd be like really hamming it up for the camera. And would take up like half the shot in terms of the space and they'd kind of overlap this background face a little bit. But the background face would be filling all the empty space, right? It'd be like the kids are taking up the bottom half, the mansion's taking up the top like third, and then all of the empty space has this overlaid face or something like that. Like, yeah, you're right. It's all the empty space. It's too blank, is what it is.
well, remember at this time you bought a computer game and it was a box that was like 3 feet tall,
Mhm. Just make
full
the
of
art.
floppy disks.
Just make the picture bigger.
Yeah, yeah. It is sort of reminiscent of the Castlevania box art, isn't it? With Dracula in the
Mm.
background and the
Yeah,
castle.
yeah, it is sort of reminiscent of it, in the composition, but not really in any other sense.
One thing, well, I mean, that's the sense. That's the sense I
Yeah.
meant. One thing that I will credit this box art with, I do think, I mean, it does give me the vibe that, oh, this is cinematic. This is something
Mm.
they're trying to sell me, that this is different from other video games. This kind of feels like a movie box art more than a game box art. And particularly uh moving past the art itself, but underneath the title, it says a comedy slash thriller by Ron Gilbert and Gary Winnick. And also, of course, it's Lucasfilm Presents at the top.
Mhm.
And at the time, I mean, Lucasfilm still and as today was more associated with movies. I mean, it has film in the name of it.
Yeah.
So that is, they're definitely trying to prepare you for what kind of game this is. And I think it's interesting they call it a comedy thriller, which are clearly terms you use to describe movies, not games.
Mhm.
And you have the names of both the creators on the box art as if they are like the directors, which is also very unusual. So they're going for it. And I think in that sense, they did at least they knew what they
Yeah.
were selling.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. There is a vision behind this. It's just kind of the execution that isn't there. Because this is like a movie poster. It's just not like a good one.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just it's fine. Like I don't think it's bad. I think it's just like whatever. It's fine.
yeah, I guess.
It's all right.
I don't really like it that much. But yeah, I do hear what you're saying. It absolutely is like that. Now, it is interesting to think about this in the sense of a comedy thriller and also in the sense of like what this game is. Um because I'm thinking about it and it is as much as it's just kind of like a step up from King's Quest in terms of, oh, it's an adventure game, you point and click, blah, 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 the mechanics are there. Yeah, this game does feel cinematic in a way that a lot of I mean, I don't know that any of the games that we've played so far are. Like, I kind of go so in this game, the first thing you do is you kind of like pick a party, right? Like you go in as Dave because your girlfriend Sandy's been kidnapped, and you pick two companions, right? And that's your group of kids, right? Um
This is great.
and
Just subtly working in explaining the game for listeners. Good segue.
right,
Keep
right,
going.
right, right. So you've got this, and going in, I kind of expected that for the most part, I'm probably going to be playing as Dave, right? This is Dave's adventure to go save his girlfriend, and you've got these two other kids who can maybe do small tasks or something. And that was not my experience of the game at all. In fact, I found that like basically I was just like never playing as Dave. And it seems like all of the kids have different um skills, and there are certain things that some kids just can do and certain things that they just can't do, meaning you could have totally different routes for all of the characters. And it really does, like every other game you play up until this point, you're kind of like playing through a story in which like you are doing something, right? Like I am Link and I need to beat Ganon. I am Jumpman and I have to rescue the princess from Donkey Kong. But in this one, like there's multiple characters who are all trying to do something, and they're not necessarily any of them are the main character, and I'm not necessarily feeling like I am any one character in particular so much as I am just like guiding these stories as I'm like watching them unfold. Like it's a very different experience, and, like, coming back to the box art here, yeah, like, it's interesting because if all I had seen of games up until this point was the games that we've been playing, yeah, I wouldn't know what to make of the phrase "a comedy thriller." What the hell is a
Mm,
thriller, right? Like, I'm I get, like, maybe a horror game in that it's scary, right? There's bad guys and they're monsters like Castlevania or something, but I don't know, like, this is much more, like, story focused than it is just, like, I'm the guy. I don't know
yeah.
if I'm articulating this right, but
No, probably not. But that's people don't expect that from us. That's not what they're here for. Well, let's really break it down for people who are not familiar. If maybe you clicked on this episode and you don't even know what an adventure game is. You do play as three characters. You move around a mansion. You move them with either a mouse or keyboard shortcuts, walking around the screen. And there are a series of puzzles throughout the mansion you need to solve. But mostly there's a bunch of items everywhere that you can pick up, and you can swap between your three characters whenever you want. And each one can carry different items. They can trade the items between each other, and you're running into obstacles and trying to figure out what to do with all these items in order to get into the basement to rescue Dave's girlfriend from this creepy mad scientist who lives in this house with his family. And also throughout the
Mhm.
game, there are scenes of dialogue with the family. You could run into the family or their tentacles or what have you and talk to them. um so like other text adventures that King's Quest also had, but it definitely feels like it has more of a cinematic presentation in this game. And yeah, I do think that this
Mhm.
was the beginning of, I liked King's Quest, but this one of the reasons the adventure game genre, particularly these 90s LucasArts games, are my favorites is for the storylines and the characters. And that's what made me fall in love with
Mhm.
them, is that it does feel like an interactive movie in many ways more than a traditional game.
Yeah, because like, King's Quest feels totally different. Like, in King's Quest, that doesn't feel like a movie, that feels like I'm a guy and I'm going around the kingdom doing a quest for the king, you know? Like
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
movie, I'm not thinking like, "Oh, hey, I've gotta rescue Sandy." I'm thinking, "Dave's gotta rescue Sandy, and Razor's got her own thing going on." Right? They're and I'm controlling all of them, but I'm not really, yeah, it's a very different thing. Um, oh shit. I had something I was gonna say and now I forget it. Whatever. You can keep saying your thing and I'll probably remember it.
All right, great. Well, can I blow your mind?
Oh, actually, I think this is what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Fuck.
blow my mind.
Well, maybe you already read it, then I can't blow your mind.
Blow the
But I
listeners'
can
minds.
maybe I'll blow some of the listeners' minds. But this game, Ron Gilbert, the creator of this game, is the guy who coined the term cutscene.
Yes, yes,
Anytime in
that's
a
what I was
video
gonna bring
game
up.
people talk about cutscenes, it's from this game. He named them that because as you play, there are scenes that are happening in the mansion that will cut in and interrupt whatever you were doing. And that was a new concept, really, at the time. I mean, cutscenes as they went on were like different. They became, you would refer to a cutscene more as a like something that would happen as a linear part of the story once you hit a certain scene or something, as opposed to here where they're called that because they cut in
Mhm.
no matter where you are or what you're doing.
Yes.
But still,
Yeah, I think
that's pretty cool.
do they come up, like, after a certain amount of time or actions, or are there triggers for them? Because it seemed like they weren't, like, some of them were triggered by my actions and other ones just kind of happened.
I believe the majority, if not all of them, are on a timer. It's
Okay.
just a timer, yeah. Which was one of the things I think they later were like, that was sort of one of the sloppier
Hmm.
Parts of it, maybe. I think they changed. They said it should have been more event based, and that's more what the genre became. I mean, I don't think there's any other. I can't think of another adventure game that really does that kind of thing. It's pretty unique to Maniac Mansion.
You mean like
Um,
cutscenes at all, or just like timing based?
the timing base, the
Okay.
fact that like something's happening. I mean, I guess there's games like there's like one called The Last Express that literally takes place in real time, but it has
Mm.
that feeling of like like as if this mansion is alive and things are happening regardless of what you're doing in it. Or you have to worry about, oh, I just saw this person go to that room, maybe I need to hide from them, but that isn't really the case. That doesn't really happen. I don't think. Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
I
get into
thought
it.
I was thinking that might be a thing that would happen. There were a couple points where like I'd see a character in a room in a cutscene and I'd be like, am I supposed to avoid that room or they'll catch me? But that I don't think that would ever got confirmed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's another part of it is if you do run into the family in the house, they will capture a kid and put them in a dungeon.
mhm. Mhm.
Okay, let's start here. What kids did you pick? There's like
I
5 or 6 you can choose from.
mhm. So the kids that I picked were Bernard and Razor. So Bernard
Wow.
is a nerd. He's a classical. I like physics and messing around with radios and engineering and math, and I have big square glasses and a button-up shirt and a pocket protector type of guy. And Razor is like a punk rocker chick with crazy hair and like a slinky black dress and heels.
Kind of, in a lot of ways, I feel like they represent us, those 2 characters.
Which one's which? Or are we
I
both
think the
some
li
of each?
I think the listeners know. I went with Bernard and Wendy. Wendy is the novelist or
Ah, okay.
something. She's good at writing.
Yes,
She's a
okay.
wannabe novelist. I think I feel like Bernard is really the outside of the tentacles, kind of the unofficial mascot of these games.
Hmm.
He is the most like he's the most memorable, I think, in terms of his look. It's like the most distinct, funny looking, goofy dork archetype guy. I do think the other one you picked, Razor, is also a pretty popular
Okay.
pick because also again more so than most of the others. They are more distinct. Like even Wendy, who I picked, just kind of looks like some girl.
Yeah, I mean, that is why I picked these two. I picked them because they were the most like distinctive, striking character models. There is a surfer guy I kind of looked at too,
Yeah.
but I was also thinking like, well, I'd rather have a guy and a girl than like two guys and two girls, and like surfer type and rocker chick isn't as fun as like nerd and rocker chick because they're more opposites. I thought it would make for a better dynamic.
Yeah. So we had some different puzzles because there's
Hmm.
multiple ways through this game depending on which characters you choose. And that of course means that you're going to be picking stuff up along the way that
Hmm.
might be a puzzle you can't even solve. There might just be
Yeah.
stuff that's like but you don't need to.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that's there for someone
Wh-
else.
Which was interesting because I kind of figured that out partway through. I don't believe, unless I missed it, that it actually says that in the manual because which is a little bit crazy that it doesn't. I don't think it says that. And I only figured it out because I was playing around with the characters and I was like, hold on, some of these characters can do things that other characters can't. That means everybody, and they all had character descriptions, and I'm seeing things related to some of these other characters here. There probably are just different like routes through this thing. And yeah, so I kind of figured that out by playing it, which was kind of neat. But yes, if I were in charge of the manual, I would probably put a big flashing thing on it that says like, hey, all the characters can do different things than each other. Play around and find out. You can replay the game with different characters for a different experience. Some of the stuff might not be for you, but
It might have said, I mean, it's hard because this game had a few different versions and I'm not
Hmm,
100% sure about which manual we looked at.
that's true.
Uh
That's another thing that is worth bringing up. Now, there was this game has a secret door in it that you need a it's got an anti-piracy
Oh,
code in it.
yes, this is important to say, yeah.
Yes, and we played a version that was unlocked, so it didn't have that. And now my manual did not give me a code, so I guess I don't know what my manual was going to that unlocked. Like I don't know, which is why I'm thinking that. But yeah,
Mhm.
explain what that because that also had effects on other parts of the game that it probably wasn't supposed to,
Yeah, this
or
is
maybe
this
it was.
weird thing that I don't fully understand, but there's the version of the game that we played is one that was widely circulated somewhere or another over the years. I currently, I guess you would buy. There's like a deluxe edition of the game that's on Steam. That's I think they've totally overhauled stuff. But yeah, so in a lot of these old games, particularly these adventure games, they would come with weird ways to get around piracy, where you had to put in some code from the book. We saw this in Sid Meier's Pirates
Hmm.
as well, where you had to like know the date of a historical event.
Yeah, when
And
gold truck come.
right. Yeah, that historical event we all
Yeah.
remember. And so that in this version they disabled that, but as a weird side effect of however they did it, there's also a couple of other puzzles that require codes, and you can basically just put in anything you want and the game will accept it. And you may see this at least in my footage where
Mhm.
I didn't know this at first. And when I first found something I needed to put a code in, I was like, oh, let me just try a thing I saw, and it worked. I was like, that seemed too easy. Then I figured
Yeah.
out, oh, I just cheated a puzzle.
Yeah, I had a couple puzzles I solved that gave me codes, and yeah, I mean, I ran into a thing that needed a code, and I was like, I did find a code. It's not clear to me that the code goes to this. It's not clear that it doesn't. If I were playing for real, I would try it here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But like,
totally.
if I knew it wasn't the right code, I would just keep playing, but I don't know it's not the right code. So I guess I'm just going to open it and fuck it. Like whatever.
Well,
So that
you
did
don't have to
happen.
fuck it.
Well, I did, it
I
turns out, but
Yeah, I tried to. After a point, I was like, no, no, I'm gonna do it
mm,
legit. Like, I know I could just put in anything, but I'm gonna actually go and figure out where that code is and how to do that.
yeah, I
At
mean,
least for some of the things I did.
yeah, I didn't mind it because there were times where I was just like, I went through this whole series of things to solve a puzzle, and the result of the puzzle was I got a code. And so that was kind of like, yeah, that's fun that I know that I have that code now. So it's not
Mhm.
just like I'm skipping massive sections of the game because I don't really know what I need to do to get places. So it's kind of like when I'm stuck, it's like, well, I'll go work on this puzzle and oh, then I'll find a code. So it's not like it's not like I just don't do them. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And again, there's lots of puzzles in this game, and there's lots of different ones depending on which characters you have. So some of the ones, like there was one with a telephone where you got to figure out the phone number for Edna, which I did figure
Mm.
out, but then I ended up never actually using that to do anything, and I actually don't know what it was for.
Yeah. I
Guess I
found
didn't do it.
the phone number, but I couldn't get the phone to work, and I'm pretty sure I know why,
Hmm.
but I also don't know how to fix that problem. I had a
Interesting.
I had a couple of like when I ended this game, I kind of ended it at a point where I was all like, I have five possible avenues to progress. Some of them might be locked behind others. Some of them might not be for me. But all of them, I just have literally no idea what to do on them anymore, and so I would just kind of be wandering around taking random game actions. Uh, but that's kind of where I ended.
And unlike me, you would never look at that hint website that you hate that gives you helpful step-by-step hints.
No, I wouldn't do that. No,
Right.
I think it
Even
would
though it's a
be.
great, invaluable resource
I
for
think it would
adventure
be even
games.
worse in this game because this game can be done so out of order. It would be really hard to figure out like where
No,
to
it's
look.
it's actually organized very well. It says look at floor by floor. You can click like basement, upper floor, middle floor, and then it has
Mhm.
like a whole list of like I'm having trouble with this. I'm having trouble with this, and you click in.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. It's quite
I,
helpful.
I will say this. Like I
UHShints.org.
so two things that I think
They're
that
not
it
a
would be
sponsor.
very fun to play this with
.com, not
somebody
.org.
else who also hadn't finished it. Like I
Sure.
don't really want to get a hint from a resource that knows how to beat the whole thing, but it would be fun to work with. Like if you were playing it at the same time as me concurrently, like checking in with you and being like, "Did you ever finish this puzzle? Because I finished this one." That would be fun. But there's another thing that I really like here, which is because I think at this point, if I were trying to beat this on my own, um like I said, I don't really want to wander through the house and try to just take random actions and check because I'm probably also just missing items. There's probably stuff that I just didn't see or something because my eyes are bad or I'm stupid or there's
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
weird unintuitive combination that I don't know how to do. And that doesn't sound very fun to just wander around. But what might be fun is I could restart the game with a totally different group of kids because then I wouldn't just be taking random actions. I wouldn't just be retracing my steps. I'd be seeing which puzzles I could still do the same and which things were different. And in the process of doing that, I would still be wandering around the house and potentially finding the clues that I needed in my other playthrough. So, like, I was thinking about that and I was like, I think this is actually, in addition to just replayability, like a fun little side effect of this multi-character system is that it kind of gives you a way to just keep searching when you are dead-ended without feeling like you're wasting your time.
Well, I kind of did what you're talking about.
Hmm.
um, I mean, we'll get into it. I don't want. I don't know. Well, I'll talk about the specifics, but at some point, I did find that I was soft locked out of progressing through the game.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I could have been soft locked too. I don't know.
It was helpful to use the internet's resources for me to find that out.
Mhm.
And they're there. We have computers. It's 2026. And
Not how I want
I
to play it.
of course I understand. But it is a way that's better to play it. I
Not
found
for
that,
me.
and then well, for normal people, non freaks, let's say, I restarted my game. I restarted my game fresh. I did not change characters though,
Hmm.
because I was like, I could do that, but the puzzles that I'm like halfway through are now the ones that I know, and I
Hmm.
don't feel like unlearning those right now. I just like I want to beat the game, and I'm like, let
Hmm.
me progress. But I still found that it was like there was some entertainment in, okay, let's start fresh. Now I know the better ways. I like last time I went here and a kid got kidnapped. Now I know not to go there. Let's go here. I can be a little more efficient. Okay, now I know I'll send this kid down here so I can do that up there. And ended up, being much faster getting up to the point that I was at previously. And it is one of those kinds of, I think a lot of these kinds of puzzle games have that feeling of you
Hmm.
almost want to play through it more than it's almost more fun when you like I always think when you have played it 10 years ago and so you only half remember the
Hmm.
puzzles. So it's like I kind of remember what to do but I don't really know. So some of the more obscure ones I think sometimes feel less punishing that way. Anyway, also the thing you were saying about playing it with someone else. We've said that about all these adventure games. Every single one of these, we've said this would be fun to play with another person,
Hmm.
having another two heads to bounce off of each other.
We
So I,
should pick a game that we don't intend to cover on the show and then play it together
I think it would
at
be a
some
like
point.
King's Quest 2 or something like that. I mean, I think that would be
Hmm.
the obvious choice,
Okay.
or maybe another like a Space Quest, another Sierra game. I don't know. But yes, or a random text adventure too. We could do all the Zorks. Let's run through every. There's
Yeah.
like 9 Zorks.
Yeah. Zork time.
Sounds like a living hell.
Look at all those
Okay,
Zorkulons.
let's zoom out here. I want to zoom out and get back to basics. I feel like we've got a little bit lost in the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm, hmm.
Let's talk about this UI and just the general. I know we technically use different methods of
Hmm.
control when we played, but compared to up until this point, every adventure game we've played has been you have to type in the word.
Hmm.
How did you feel the transition to clicking on verbs or using keyboard shortcuts for verbs and moving around and doing stuff that way?
Um, Pros and cons. I mean, definitely all pros over like a King's Quest. But so some of the big pros, I know what all the things I can do are. That's pretty good. Well, that's not quite true. There were a couple times where I like there was a point where I kind of had a revelation that I could like use stuff in my inventory with other stuff in my inventory because I was just so used to like alternating between click on the thing on the screen and then use the thing in my inventory. But like for the most part, I knew everything
Mm.
I could do, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, I wanna try to make friends with, Ed or whatever, and so what do I do? Do I talk to him? Do I praise him? Do I joke with him? Well, no, there's no option to do that. Either I have to solve some totally different puzzle or I have to give him something. Those are pretty much because like, what am I gonna do? Read him? Push him? Like, no, right? Like, there's just not. So, that was very helpful. There's no fucking bullshit with like how you got to open the grate in some way or whatever. Like oh, how am I gonna
Uh,
get? Can I do something with these bushes? Let's try pushing them. That didn't work. Let's try opening them. Hey, that worked. Why open and not push? I don't know. It's kind of bullshit. But you know what? There's really only two options, so it doesn't matter. That's a big benefit, I think. Um,
yeah.
one of the downsides over a text adventure, and this was a thing in King's Quest as well, is that I could potentially miss things on screen. And I don't know that this happened too often. There might have been one or two times where I came back and noticed something I didn't notice before. But like I do know in King's Quest, sometimes I would see a thing and I just didn't know the word for it. Here, you don't have to worry about that. If you see a thing, you can use it, but you do kind of have to see it. There is the option to just press like the what is it button and move your mouse all around the screen to see if anything pops up. But if you aren't always doing that and you don't know what you're looking for, you could miss things. Whereas in a text adventure, pure text adventure, you can see everything in the room because it's the text, right? And that's kind of just like a thing. You just have to interpret the text. So some pros and cons to it, but I think mostly pros. I think. Oh, the one other frustrating thing is that I I did appreciate when I could type things in, my ability to swear at the game. Like I didn't like that I couldn't be like, I don't know, fucking um kill that plant or whatever, and then the game's like, I don't know what that is, and I'll be like, fuck you, I'm killing it. I can't say that. I can't even say kill the plant. I can't say why the fuck can't I do that. I can only do that out loud. It's very cathartic to
Wow.
be able to do it in the game, but
Yeah.
otherwise, for the
Yeah.
most part, pros.
Well, what you're saying is something I think they really solved in later, not even later games, like the next game. In fact, I think it's the biggest thing that this game is missing.
Hmm.
Or it's pretty high up on the list at least. That's keeping this from really being to me like the final form of this genre is that you can't in a standard later adventure game when you're moving your mouse cursor around the screen, as soon as you're hovering over something, it'll probably say the name of that thing in the bottom, or you just click on the thing and your character will have something to say about it.
Hmm.
And so part of the joy for me in a point and click adventure game in the initial stages is just, oh, I have a new room. That means there's a dozen things in here that I can click on and my character will have a little joke about. Maybe it'll
Hmm.
be a little hint. Maybe it'll be an item I can pick up. Maybe it'll make some dialogue happen with another person who's in the scene. But there's all these little things that I can click on, and just before I even start trying to solve a puzzle, I'm just enjoying the world. And here, nothing, unless you're specifically doing a puzzle, you can pick up every item. There's no look at verb. There's no
Hmm.
what there is literally a what is, which just like you said is very helpful because it that way you can just like scroll around the screen desperately and try to find something you maybe missed.
Yeah.
but your character doesn't talk about it. And I feel like that is the biggest hurdle of this game that makes the puzzles much harder, because
Mm.
later adventure game, your character would say something like, "Oh, that seems like it would look better in red." And then and then later you're like, "Hey, I found some red paint. Remember that guy said it would look good in red or whatever?" That's a terrible example. That's not a
No,
real thing.
I get what you're saying though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that is the way
Yeah.
that I was solving puzzles effectively, was that, but with less context. And there are items here that, as far as I know, just don't have any real purpose. So,
Yeah, yeah, right. Most items do have a purpose if you have the right characters.
hmm.
There is at least one, like I know the chainsaw has no functionality.
I was kind of starting to suspect that by the end, because like I got that right off the bat, and then it was like, oh, you can't use it because you don't have any gas, and I was like, oh, I need to get gas, and then like so far into the game, I was like, I've seen no sign of any gas. I've seen no sign of any puzzle that requires a chainsaw to use. It was like literally the first thing I got. And it's such a stereotypical thing to use in like a mansion like this. I kind of feel like it's a joke that I never use the chainsaw. So I was
Yeah.
starting to suspect that.
Yeah, I think it's actually, apparently it's a reference to another Lucasfilm game, Zack McCracken.
Hmm.
I think they mentioned in the game that there's some joke about getting gas in the Zack McCracken game or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that is one of my other issues with the game. Is I think maybe as a factor of not having those descriptions, but also just in general, it's the puzzles. A lot of times I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Whereas I like to have a guy tell me, "Here's the three things you gotta do, Sonny." And then I'm like, okay, I have no idea how to accomplish those, but at least I have some idea. And I feel like there's a lot of puzzles in Maniac Mansion that are almost more like Myst in a way, that are just like, I don't even I was supposed to fix that and use it? I don't know. Like, how was I supposed to? That was a puzzle? Oh, I guess it was. Okay.
Hmm.
That you just have to figure out by just running around and trying everything forever.
I'm trying to figure out
Um,
if this is a question of semantics, because I never really felt like I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing in this game. For the most part, I usually felt like there were five things I was supposed to be doing, and I had an inkling of an idea for what I might do for any given one of them. And most of those inklings were wrong, but it's like, okay, I put it down, I come back, and I have a couple more ideas, or I've come up with another thing that I remembered interacting with, and then, hey, this one works. Um, Now I see more things and I've got more progress, and it was only at a certain point, like even when I ended, I wasn't exactly like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. It was kind of like, I feel like I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I just have absolutely no fucking idea how to do it, or like I just don't have a part, or if I do have a part, it doesn't make sense.
it may just be our different brains, or
Hmm.
maybe just like our different, maybe like the way that you were playing and thinking about it, you found the what you were supposed to be doing before figuring out how to do it. And maybe I was like more running into, like, I
Hmm.
know these things are for something, but I don't know what. Maybe I was just finding stuff in different orders. Maybe we should talk about specific examples, and we should say, for listeners or viewers, if you're viewing, then I mean, there's going to be potential puzzle spoilers for sure, so just be
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah, you might want to visually put that up on screen, like right at the beginning, just
I
in
mean, who's
case.
gonna who's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
start
true.
watching the game and be like, "What do you think we're doing? You think we're just
Yeah,
gonna not solve a
that's
puzzle?"
true. That's true. Some people are
Also,
stupid.
I probably have at least a couple hours of footage of me just picking everything up and not solving any puzzles. So
I have at least 15 minutes of footage of me trying to make my character dance to music on the radio. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I
There's a
we'll,
banger
we'll
in this game.
we'll get to that later maybe. 'Cause I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But like, here, so an example of one where this is good in the game that's early on is, okay, there's a tentacle blocking the way. Obviously, like, I want to
Mhm.
explore the rest of the house. I got to get past this tentacle.
Mhm.
Like, that's very clear. Like, that's okay. I need a
Mhm.
way to get past the tentacle. He tells you that he's
Yes.
hungry, even better. Like, that's a clear
Yeah.
hint. Great.
Yeah. In fact, before you even get there, this tentacle was one of the first things that taught me that you could do things with characters, with different characters, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
because I immediately Dave got kidnapped and thrown in the basement. I said, "All right, fuck it. I guess I'm playing as Bernard."
Same.
Bernard will immediately run away from this tentacle without giving you any chance to interact or do anything because he's scared of it because he's a loser. And I was like, "Oh," and as you said, obviously I need to get past this tentacle, and it's clear that I just literally can't do anything. So this was like my impetus to switch over and be like, "Okay, can Razor do something?"
Yeah, 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 yeah. Totally. So that is a good. And I don't know if anyone else. I think Bernard might be the only character who's a wuss, and there's
Mhm.
other things that he can't do too. But a lot of things that he can do. What a guy. So that's a really good one. I would say. I mean, the one I was talking about. I don't know what you've were figuring out with that. You said you couldn't fix the telephone. But I was like, why do I want to fix the telephone? What am I trying to
Mm.
do? And eventually I called Edna on the phone and she would talk to me and then hang up. And I was like, okay, so that didn't do anything. So I'm missing something, but I don't know what or why. Like, am I trying to get her out of her room? Because I already know a way to do that and get in there. I can do that a different way. So I'm just not really sure what I'm supposed to be working with there. So yeah, I don't know. There's maybe I'm overselling how obscure it is. Maybe there is
No,
more
I
stuff, but
I think I see what you're saying because I think that might be a consequence of this game being very nonlinear
yeah,
because
yeah,
at
yeah.
at no point was I really thinking like why would I want to do this? Like I was just looking around being like what are all the things I can do? Let's see if I can do them because if I do them, that'll show me more things I can do and eventually I'll figure out like where this is all heading. Because my way of looking at these, and this was true of text adventures too, is basically just like the first thing I want to do is just look at everything. I just want to look at what all my options are. What's in every room? What are all
You
the
want to
things
lay
that
out
don't
all your
work?
jigsaw puzzle pieces before
Yeah.
you put
I
them
just
together.
yeah, and then once I know what all the pieces are, I'll just kind of start trying to jam things together that look like they go together and eventually a picture will form, which was very annoying when I had to wander the entire map 3 times, um, but works really well in a game like this where, yeah, like, all of the puzzles can kind of be done in any order, and some of them are not for you and whatever, because I am just kind of being like, "Oh, okay, I remember how that said this, maybe I'll go remember how at the beginning of the game I looked at everything and I saw a thing that said that? Let me go back and double check that and make sure it really says what I thought it said. Yeah, it sure does. That sure seems related to what I'm doing over here, kind of thing."
Yeah, yeah. There's another like there's I mean the different kids thing does make it a little bit worse in that
Mm.
there's like a dark room that you
Yeah.
find and you need this formula, this developer to develop a picture. And I like kind of went through all these steps to do it, but it turns out that's for a different kid I didn't have. And
Yeah, that
I still don't even know what you do that for.
that was one of the things that I was stuck on that I thought might be a dead end. Like out of the like different ideas that I had about how to progress, one of them was, all right, I see the developer fluid on the ground. I know I need to pick that up. I don't know how. I see the dark room where I would develop. I don't have any film to develop. I don't have the photographer to develop the film, but maybe I don't need the photographer. But like I was just like I see the pieces, right? I see that if I could just find some film or something to develop, then I could develop it. I just have to figure out how to pick up this developer. I was trying to do it with like the jar and it wasn't working. Except maybe I couldn't do it because maybe it's for the photographer, and I guess that would have just been for the photographer. So I wasn't sure. But like I said, because I had like 5 or 6 balls in the air at any given time, it was never really a disaster if one of them didn't really go anywhere, right? It was like, all right, I'll
Hmm.
just go over to the other one then.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I am, I guess, stupid. and
Hmm.
I didn't like I've never developed film.
Mm.
When you first go into that pantry and on the shelf, it's like developer. I didn't understand what that meant. I thought it was like some kind of a meta joke about like a game developer. I was like,
Mm.
what is this? It took me a while to realize what that meant.
Okay, so if this makes you feel better, I'm stupider than you.
Fuck yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I already knew that.
so I, at first, because I was trained by like Colossal Cave Adventure, right, and some of these other games, right, you walk into a dark room, you don't want to get lost. So the first thing you do is say, fuck this, I need a light. I'll go find a light and then I'll come back to this room. It didn't occur to me that I could just move the mouse around to see what everything in the room was and maybe find a light switch. And I
Oh, that
only
took me a while.
Okay. So the first time I walked into that room, I walked right back out and I found the can or the bottle of developer before I found the tray, the developer
Oh yeah.
tray. And I was, oh, okay. Yeah. Cause that was the bottle. I was
I'm the
like, oh, it's a
same.
bottle of developer. It's probably for film or something. And I
Mm.
crashed and I was like, oh, I guess I'm fucked if I needed that. But then I found it again. So it was okay.
Yeah, you can pick it up with the sponge, by the way. I don't know if you.
The sponge, huh? I guess that's in the bathroom?
Yeah, I believe there's a sponge in the bathroom. Yeah.
I never picked up a sponge. Yeah, I would have tried that for sure if I had it.
Yeah, I think it's on the sink.
Mm. Oh, you know what? You know what it probably is because I solved the bathroom puzzle that got you that Edna number. And
Hmm.
I figured I was probably done with the bathroom because I didn't really see anything else in there that called to me as something that needed to be done. That's probably
Yeah,
what it was.
and that's the thing. And I mean, that is something that is throughout this whole genre. I think it gets better later on. But the idea of pixel hunting,
Mm.
of there being like, oh, one thing that you need to look at that's just like a literal dot on the screen that if you didn't scroll over it the right way at the right time, you don't know what to do. And it turns out it's just this stupid little dot in the corner. Um, I mean, one of the things that I did send you, the only thing that I truly was like, there's a
Hmm.
chance he gets stuck early on and just has a Mario 3 experience here, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen,
Hmm.
is if all three kids get trapped in the basement. Now, I
Hmm.
don't know what your experience with this was, but I did have a rough go of figuring out how to get out of there. It is I don't know if for you maybe you figured it out or what.
I did use that because I almost immediately ended up in the basement and I had seen that you had given me a spoiler thing for what to do if you were there, and I was just like, yeah, I have no fucking idea what I should be doing to get out of here. Um, like I wouldn't have known if I was stuck or not. I might have figured I was. I saw that there was a way. I was looking around. I couldn't fucking figure anything out. I probably would have had to restart the game, which would have been very frustrating. Because one of the things is that it's actually not that bad to restart and redo everything you've done. It's pretty fast, but like if you've just started, you don't want to do it again. It feels really bad. And I gotta say, I never would have gotten that the way to get out. Never, because even when you said go like where to look, I didn't fucking find it. So I looked online and it told me where the thing was, and I still couldn't do it. Like I needed to know that that worked because like okay, so there's like a loose brick in the wall. So you had said search in between or like around the two windows and in between the two windows. I didn't find it. I looked online and it said it's directly below the like left window and there's a loose brick and I was like, okay. So I pushed the loose brick. There's a sound effect. It opens a door, but the door only opens temporarily. And in order to walk over to that brick, you have to center yourself such that the door is off screen. So I pushed the brick and I heard a sound effect and I was like, okay, so did something open? And I looked around. Nope, no change. Everything's the same. Push the brick again? Nope, no change. What the fuck am I supposed to do? There is no way in hell I would have figured that out. I would have just been restarting the game every time all three kids were in there until I got the key to the basement.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I sent it to you because that basically happened
Yeah.
to me. And I was
Yeah.
like, if this happened to me, it's gonna happen to him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, and I
And
did use that hint, and I guess I gave up on my ideals a little bit by
yeah,
doing it,
yeah,
but
well,
you know.
Mr. Hypocrite. Now we see the real you.
Mm-hmm.
So all the
Mm-hmm.
people listening who are like, Jonathan, you need to help Will. There you go. I did it. we
That's true.
avoided a crisis this
We
week.
did. We did avoid a crisis this week.
Because yeah, I also was like, even after knowing there's a brick, I literally moved my mouse over every inch of brick, and I was like, I can't fucking find the
Yeah.
brick.
Yeah.
But once you know it's there, I mean, the door part, I didn't mind as much. I like it was a little confusing, but I figured it out. But once you like know that, not only is it not that bad to be trapped in the basement, it's kind of just part of the game at a certain point. Like, in fact,
Yeah.
I would use it. I
Yeah.
would get captured on purpose just as a shortcut to go downstairs, so I
Yeah,
didn't have to walk.
I never figured out a way to get into that basement that did not involve getting kidnapped because the door is fucking shut from the outside and doesn't have a handle, and I never found a handle for it. So if I wanted
I
to
don't
go
know if
down
there
there,
is one.
I would just go get myself captured, and that
Yeah,
was fine. So
yeah.
yeah, like at first I was a little upset with how fast David got caught because I was like, I thought I was going to be playing as fucking Dave over here. Um, and then I was like, all these characters, like I can't even explore the mansion without getting caught. And to be fair, I would have just restarted and known what was in those rooms and not gotten caught. But I do think it was actually like in general, it was good design to just throw a kid down there right off the bat so that you kind of are aware that that's actually kind of a place you want to be sometimes.
I
Um,
actually don't know if it's possible to. I don't know if you wait long enough if they'll leave. Edna will go out of the kitchen in the beginning. Because when I started a new
was it
game, I still
Edna
just
or
walked a
okay,
kid right in there. I'm pretty sure it was Edna
okay,
in the
okay.
kitchen. I don't remember,
It
but
was early enough. I wasn't paying enough attention. I was just like, "What the fuck is a blue person?"
but I still like just got captured immediately. I was
Mhm.
like, that's just the way to go. I get like because you don't
Yeah.
need. Eventually, you need a kid down there, and you don't
Hmm.
need 3 kids in the mansion. So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. That's what you do, I guess. And then my second playthrough, I also ended up really once I knew more what I was doing, I pretty much just used Bernard and like loaded him up with everything except for the specific, oh, I know this is a
Mhm.
puzzle that Wendy does. And then Dave, I just stuck him in the dungeon because he was useless.
Yeah. One of the things that I did find a little bit annoying was that the kids had to pass inventory between themselves because what would happen would be that like I would get a bunch of items and I wasn't sure if they were useful or not or what they were used for. And I would say, like, I want to work on this puzzle, and I have a suspicion this is a razor puzzle. So I want to use razor. But I was just working on something that I thought might be a Bernard puzzle. So Bernard has all my shit. So, and I don't want to go anywhere without
Hmm.
all my shit because I don't know what I need and what I don't need because I'm not quite sure what it's used for yet. Like, I don't want to get to something and not know. So now I have to walk all the way across the fucking mansion over to this other kid to transfer the stuff to the other kid, which also led me to sometimes be all like, maybe I just won't pick stuff up. Maybe I'll just know it's sitting over there and then I can go get it later, which I think is a bad habit because I think there were a bunch of things that I should have picked up that I didn't, and then I didn't know where they were or I forgot they existed and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So I did
there
think that
is
was a little annoying.
it can be quite tedious. Just run. There's a lot of I got to get all the way upstairs to do this thing. Then I got to go all the way downstairs to use it. And then I got to get a
Mhm.
kid in the basement. And then I got to go all the way back upstairs again. And oh no, that one item, that kid has it. God damn it. Back down I go.
Yeah, I
um,
didn't mind so much the puzzles that were like location based. It was more just like once I have a thing, I want to have that fucking thing.
but you don't have it.
But yeah,
Dave
no,
has it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got to go get it from Dave.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it is cool just in general that you can give items to each other.
Yeah,
I mean, remember again because this is at the time this was very novel. I
yeah.
mean
I
that
wish there were
yeah.
more things you could give items to because you can pretty much only give items to characters. I was really trying things like can I give this hamster lettuce? Or can I give this man-eating plant the rotten ham? And it just like wasn't even able. It was just like, yeah, you can't give it to those things. Like they just don't get clicked on. And oh, that sucks.
Yeah. 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 Did you put the hamster in the microwave?
I read a billion things about putting the hamster in the microwave, but I did not do that. Um, like
Damn.
fucking Ed was always in his goddamn room, and when I tried to take the hamster, he got mad at me, so I just restarted.
Oh, I mean, what I did was just have two kids. One kid goes in, gets captured, and then while Ed's coming back up, you go inside the
when
room.
whenever Ed captured me, I lost the ability to switch kids. I don't know why that happened.
But you should still, like, after you see the cutscene of him putting them in the basement, you have a window of like a minute to go in there.
No, because the literal command new kid wasn't on my screen anymore and I could not select it after he did that.
Well,
Like
I
I
have no
literally was
idea.
like soft locked. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I don't know if it's cuz I was doing something different than you or if there was it was very the first time it happened I was like I don't think I can get out of the basement if I can't switch kids cuz I don't have the rusty key and I just lost like 20 or 30 minutes of progress which it turned out was more like 5 because I just remembered everything that I had done that was relevant in that time so it didn't matter. Um but like yeah, it was weird. I didn't know what to do with that. But I guess the actual answer was that I never figured out how to get the fucking plans to give him. But
Um, huh. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at mine, and I'm looking at my footage to see if that happened to me, and no, it still says new kid. I switched right after she got kidnapped and just did it. I have no
yeah,
idea what happened to you.
yeah, I don't know. I have no clue.
I mean, I did use the keyboard shortcuts. I wonder if that still would have worked for you.
I was
But I
trying to press him, but yeah, I don't know.
but I'm sure that's the canonical way you're supposed to get in there and do that.
I mean, I
Um,
just assumed once I got him the plans, he would leave to go help me do stuff, and then
oh,
I would be able to
that's
walk back in there.
you may be right because I did just completely. I never tried to make him my friend, so I don't even know how you do
Oh,
that.
I was halfway through doing it. I got him his package, but I didn't get him his plans.
Yeah, I see. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
There's a package that comes for him.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Cause
yeah. That I
yeah,
do
cause,
know. Yeah,
cause
yeah, yeah.
every time he caught me, he said, "It's too bad we're not on the same side." And I was like, "Okay,
Right.
do I make him on?" And like I said, I can't talk to him, so either I got to solve a puzzle or I got to give him something. And I was like, "What might he want? Lettuce? No. A flashlight? No. A chainsaw? No." And I didn't try these. I was just like, it's not worth going through the
Mm,
cutscene every time. But there's just no way. And then I was like, "Oh, wait, there's a package outside here. Maybe he wants his package." And then that worked.
Oh wow, interesting. Cool. Yeah. Okay. See, I only used the package because it has stamps on it, and there's another thing that
Oh,
you
motherfucker, are you
try to
serious?
mail.
Did I soft lock my because that was a thing that I felt like I was one step away from completing and I was all like I don't know where I would get a stamp other than that package but I went back in his room and looked for the package and didn't find it so presumably there's a either I don't need a stamp. Motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I
Oh
think you
man.
don't because I also didn't. I ended up not even mailing it, so I think you don't have. I don't think you have to do either of those
But I
puzzles.
want that was one I really wanted to do. Okay, so let me tell you this puzzle from my perspective because this is a Razor puzzle. Unless you don't want the spoilers. Spoilers for
Here's the
Razor.
thing. I
Yeah.
think it's like a similar puzzle, but every depending on which kid you
Mhm.
have, there's a different thing you're mailing.
Yeah,
But
but the thing
so
I'm mailing is really fucking good.
sure, go ahead.
So if you're Razor, you can play the piano and record it onto a cassette player. Okay.
Yeah.
If you take the cassette player up to the tentacles room where he's sulking and depressed, he says, "Yo, that's a cool song. You know, I made a demo disc." And then he'll give you a demo disc. And then he says, "Oh man, but even if the two of us were like in a band together and rocking out or whatever, nobody would actually want to like, like, what do you call that? Not publish. for
Uh,
music, like nobody would sign us. And I was like,
sure.
that the TV commercial said that they'll sign us. So I could have fucking gotten that tentacle in a band or like been in a band with that tentacle or some shit if I could have sent that tape in, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah. So the version I had was it was somebody's manuscript,
Hmm. I
which
had
you
that
may have found in
manuscript
a
too.
drawer.
Yes,
But
I
the
think Bernard
manuscript
fucked it up
sucks.
worse when he tried to fix
Yeah,
it.
but Wendy is a writer.
Hmm.
So if Wendy uses it, then she makes it good. And you're supposed to mail that in. Now, I then also doubly fucked this up because you need did you get the envelope to send it?
I didn't find an envelope.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Okay, yeah. So eventually you find a safe and it has an envelope in it.
Hmm.
And there is something in the safe in the envelope that you need. So in addition to this, so of course I was like, okay, first instinct, open envelope, sure. Rip open the envelope. Now it says you can't use this with the manuscript because the envelope is ruined. So that puzzle is done. You're supposed to find a way to get Steam to open the envelope neatly, but it doesn't. The game, and nope. Like I said, in a later adventure game, the character would have said, "Well, I could just rip it open, but maybe I should find a better way." And this game was just like, yeah, fuck you. You'll you'll start over if you really want it bad enough, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, I guess if these are like special character endings that you don't need to do to beat the game. Because, like, I was kind of thinking, like, I
Yeah.
don't think that me pursuing being in a band with this tentacle is going to help me beat the game. I just want to do it. By the way, that demo tape is a fucking banger.
I'm glad you like it.
I couldn't find it on YouTube. I was like trying to search it, and all I found was like, here's a playthrough of the demo version of the game, or like, here's a tentacle song from like the NES that's a different song, and I didn't see it. I was upset.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it does for you. Because I did end up finishing the game without doing these
Mhm.
things. So I don't know. Like, what what would this have accomplished? Is it just totally optional? Is it a character specific thing? I don't know the answer. I didn't look up every little thing about this game, but
Mm,
I don't know. Which I guess is cool. I mean, it's cool that you can play it multiple times and do different things and discover different things about it.
mhm,
In spite of those, though, the one that annoyed me that I actually had to restart my game for is pretty early on. There's a room where you find a paintbrush, there's a painting, and there's paint remover in the room.
mhm.
And I don't know about you, but I saw a painting. I saw that I had paint remover. I said, I don't know, use paint remover with painting. And then he was like, oh, well, that didn't do anything, but you used the paint remover. Well, later
Mhm.
on, there's a secret door you need the paint remover for, and I didn't have it anymore, and that was it. I could not complete the game. I had to start over and keep the paint remover.
That's
So
interesting because that didn't happen to me. I like tried to paint something on the easel and it didn't work. And so I just never bothered to use the paint remover on it. I just left the room. And later on, I found the paint splotch and was like, paint remover? Bam, done, easy. It didn't even occur
yeah,
to me that I could soft lock that. That is a little
yeah,
annoying.
that is very annoying. And especially because again the ethos of this game, if I may, from Ron Gilbert was he saw King's Quest and he was like, one of his tenets of making this game was it's annoying that you aren't allowed to experiment, that everything you
Mhm.
do ends up killing you and it's a pain in the ass and they don't want you to experiment. So this game goes a long way towards helping you do that. But that was the intention, was that you would be able to do that throughout. And stuff like that I'm referring to is a mistake. Like, he didn't want that, wasn't an intentional design thing of haha, you have to be paying close attention. They just weren't as good at catching things yet. They didn't
Mm.
quite have the experience to make sure it was as smooth and a run through as they wanted it to be. So yeah, I mean, that did annoy me. I didn't in the end. I was like, whatever, because again, it wasn't that bad to catch up and just get all the stuff in
Yeah.
the mansion, but pretty annoying.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was a thing also. Like I said, like If I had had to restart from the beginning, right at the beginning, I would have been pissed. But yes, the time when I was like, "Oops, I haven't been saving early and often, and I appear to have soft locked myself, and it's been like fucking 30 minutes since I saved." Again, I redid all of it in like 5 minutes. It just was nothing. So I don't think it's a huge I don't think it would be a huge deal to replay to the point that I was at from scratch with the same characters.
And also more expected at the time. You
Mhm.
would have been like, "Oh, that's just how games are." You've got to start over sometimes.
Right,
You know,
right, right,
they
right.
whereas now you'd be like, "That's unthinkable." And also this game's story isn't again, later adventure games have much more linear plots with character arcs and progression and stuff that it just wouldn't feel right to have to redo them in any way. But here it is more like an open-ended game, so it doesn't feel as crazy to redo it. That is one of the paint thing is I think there's only like 3 ways you can actually soft lock yourself out of finishing the game.
Hmm.
That's one of them. Apparently you can get the kids killed. And this never happened to me. I never killed any kid.
I
But you
found ways that I'm pretty sure could kill the kids, and I did detonate a nuclear bomb and kill
Oh, I did do
everybody.
that. I did
Yeah,
do that one.
yeah. But there were
It
things that I actively avoided because I was pretty sure they would kill me.
but I mean, I saved right before I detonated the nuclear bomb.
Yes, I did. I did not lose progress off of that. I kind of knew that pressing that button was maybe not a great idea.
They give you a pretty good indication
Hmm.
that it might be there for you. How about I think another one of the real important things about this game and how it influenced other adventure games was its sense of humor.
Mm.
And I mean, the text adventures in King's Quest, they did play around with things a little. They had stupid puns and, Odysseus or whatever. But I think this is the first game that really leans into, these puzzles are kind of ridiculous. And we are acknowledging that and poking fun at that fact. And also the entire game's aesthetic is this Rocky Horror B movie
Hmm.
thing that's on its own just a silly, goofy, laughy time. How did that work for you? Would you say this was a funny game? Did you laugh?
I mean, I don't know that I laughed, but I did enjoy the game's sense of humor. Like this is part of why I was more invested in that razor tentacle band thing going on because I really liked that you go up into the tentacles room and he's just like I'm so depressed and he's got a fucking disco sucks poster and these massive speakers um and I really liked that, he's trying to make a music. I thought that was all great. I thought that was really funny, and the fact that you could record music with him, that was fun. That was good. That grabbed me in a way that a lot of the other stuff, just the regular solve a puzzle, didn't grab me as much. And there were a number of things like that. I did like, that there are video games that I can do. That there are um yucky body parts that nobody will pick up. I wonder if anyone will pick those body parts up. I don't know. Yeah,
I
I thought
don't
it was
know.
all a lot of fun. I did enjoy all of it.
I'm glad you experienced that music puzzle because I didn't have
Mhm.
that character. So for me, it was
Yeah.
that entire area is basically useless. There's like
It's
a key
interesting.
in there. That's it.
It's interesting because that was definitely by far my favorite part, was doing all of that stuff. So it's interesting trying to reframe my experience around what if instead of doing that I did something else? Would it have been nearly as good? I don't know.
Yeah, I did some like I found the tapes and I was like, "Oh, I can
Mhm.
record records too.
Yeah.
What's that for?" And I played it in the speaker and I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
Cuz I
It
cuz I wasn't doing anything.
it took me a while because I was recording records, I was recording radio noises, and it took me a long time to be like, right at the very beginning, one of the earlier things I figured out was that Razor can play the piano and Bernard can't. Why don't I try that?
Mm,
It took me
yeah.
a long time to make that connection, but once I did, it was great.
Yeah, that can be one of the exciting things about adventure games.
This is why I don't look up hints.
You're stupid. And What else? I mean, what else?
Here's a question. Can I ask you this? The
I
nuclear
love
bomb
this.
goes off if you press the red button. Okay. If
Okay.
you So that red button's in a pool that you drain with a water valve. Um,
Uh-huh.
and you get a cutscene where Dr. Fred is like, "Oh no, if the water doesn't refill, we'll have a meltdown." If you don't turn that valve back, does the nuclear bomb still explode after a period of time? Because all of these earlier adventure games trained me, turn that fucking switch back when you're done doing this puzzle. Do not leave it off. And I'm wondering if that was correct or if it just didn't
Yeah.
matter. Okay.
No,
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Okay.
In fact, I think there's multiple things you can do that will make
Yeah.
the bomb go off if you don't
Okay.
reset it.
Okay, yes. I also was very careful to get my character out of the pool before I refilled it because I was like, that'll probably kill me. Uh,
That happened to me, and I think you just like walked on the water back. It didn't
okay. Okay, sure.
acknowledge. So,
Yeah.
in most ways, they made it much
Mhm.
friendlier. I mean, it's not literally King's Quest. I literally was dying every every
Yeah.
screen was a death.
Mhm.
This is much nicer in that regard, much gentler. I also didn't put the hamster in the microwave, by the way. I tried to do it with Bernard, but Bernard doesn't do it. He's too squeamish.
Mm.
And I never went back to it. But that is one of the things this game is sort of famous for, is that you can do that. It's like
Yeah. When I
you know,
skimmed the
because
Wikipedia, there were like 2 dozen mentions of it. Like you couldn't avoid seeing it. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know till after I was done because I didn't do that till like right before we recorded. So I did not know that was, I would not have thought to try to put the hamster in the microwave. I was trying to microwave some stuff and that never really went anywhere. But I don't think I would have tried the hamster.
I think it's representative of the feeling of this game that it lets you just do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It lets you experiment and do stuff that's not only maybe pointless, but also is weird and sort of subversive in a way.
Mhm.
Like, what other
Yeah.
game can you kill a hamster?
Yeah, I mean that I guess also goes back to my earlier thing about saying like I didn't feel like I didn't know what to do because I had so many things to do. And a lot of those, maybe they literally didn't matter. Maybe I didn't need to do them at all. But like they were a thing I could do. And I figured out that if I did it, something would happen. And it's like, there you go. That's my little, like, I push button, I get pellet. Is that actually the way out of the cage? No, but I got my pellet. So
You do love your pellets.
I love my pellets. What can I say?
Did you how close did you get to, like, did you ever open the door to the lab either the right way or the wrong way?
I believe I did it the wrong way, but I did open the door to the lab. Um, I managed to unlock the outer door. I figured all that out. I don't even remember. There were like 10 keys in different spots, and I don't remember where I got that one. Oh wait, was that in the pool?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I did open that door. So that was, and then there was a keypad in that, and I was like, well, I know at least one code that might work for this, but I'm pretty sure it was not the right one, because it was the one in the bathroom and it said Edna, and I was like, I bet that's not this because it says Edna, but I would try it if I were playing for real. So I did get in there, but I never got past that tentacle. I assumed that the way to get past that tentacle either had to do with getting Ed on my side with the plans that I never figured out, or getting the green tentacle on my side with the band that I didn't manage to get together, or getting the fucking power back on. I played around a lot with those goddamn wires and it showed me the cutscene of the goddamn doctor trying to play his video games, and I could not figure out how to get those wires fixed. I had another idea too that didn't work, which was when you turn off the water to the nuclear reactor, he calls the purple tentacle away. And I thought maybe if I had one kid do that, I could have the other kid sneak into the lab, but that did not work. I still got caught. So that's where I was on
Yeah.
that puzzle.
Yeah, so I do think the arcade game is a sort of a pretty annoying one. But I mean, yeah, you need to Well, you were saying this earlier that you couldn't fix the phone either. Did you ever find the tools?
I did find the tools. I used them on a bunch of stuff, but they only worked on a grate.
Yeah, so you're supposed to one kid turns the power off so that Bernard can fix the wires. At least I think it has to be Bernard.
Oh,
Is
you know
is
that
that the
because
issue?
the problem was that I never played around. I had completely Okay, so I probably would have figured this out eventually if I'd played enough times because I didn't spend very much time fucking around with the circuit breaker. And if I had just fucked around at some point, I would have been playing around with the circuit breaker. And at some point, I would have been like, they're saying "youch" every time I try to interact with the wires. What if I did that? Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, I didn't fuck around with
Yeah.
that enough.
Yeah, you also need new batteries for the flashlight to do that too, which was also
Uh,
sort of annoying. I thought how you find those. Maybe you just did
I
find them though.
I put old batteries in the
Yeah.
flashlight.
I think you might be able to do it with the old batteries, but when I did it, they ran out really fast
Mm,
I had to find new batteries because you can't do it in the dark.
I see.
Anyway, that will eventually get you to the code to that door. That's what that all is. So it sounds like I think you are right about befriending people to get past that. But the way I did it was by calling the Meteor Police. So you never did that, it sounds like.
No, I never called any meteor police.
Oh, yeah. If you go into like one of the first bedrooms in the house that's empty, there's or maybe it's not a bedroom. I don't know. It's a room. There's a poster on the wall that's like wanted this meteor, call this number if found. And then there's a
Yeah.
radio next to it. And if you fix that radio, you have to get a part from another radio, and Bernard has to fix it. You can call the Meteor Police, which are like little green aliens from space, and they will come down and arrest
Yes.
or
Okay.
they'll come in and they drop
Yeah.
a badge. It's a whole thing.
Okay. So that radio, I fucked around with that so much. How do you get apart from another radio? Because I was trying to use radios to fix that radio, and I was trying to like jerry rig like tubes because he told you the exact type of tube you needed to fix that radio. That was one of the things that I was fucking around with, and I was like, I have no clue what to do because I have like tried to put everything on this damn thing.
Yeah, so it's pretty dumb. You go down to the radio on the first floor or whatever, or maybe it's the second floor, and you just go open radio, and
Oh,
there it
open
is.
radio.
Yep,
I never
that's
tried
it.
open radio. I tried to like take the radio. I had a radio in my possession that I tried to use to fix it.
Yeah. Guess what? That radio in your
Yeah.
possession, by the way, that's where the batteries are from too.
Sure.
That's the
Okay.
only reason
Okay.
that exists, as far as I know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking
So
maybe I
yeah,
could use the radios to send and pick up each other's signal. Like I was thinking maybe that station would send out a radio signal and then I'd pick it up on my radio somewhere else later. I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
this is why I use the hints sometimes, and also
Yeah.
because I think shut up. The further you go, the better the puzzles get in these games. I mean, as the genre evolves, and I will in later games I give them more leeway where I'm like, I trust the developers. I will spend the time. I'll figure this puzzle out if I think about it long enough. Like this point or earlier, some of these puzzles, I'm like, no, I don't trust you. I think sometimes you made a bullshit puzzle and fuck you. I'm gonna get a hint.
Yep.
And I think that is the case with a few of the puzzles in this game.
Yeah. Well, I am
But
perfectly happy to not progress if the puzzle is too bullshit to progress through.
you're
But
annoying and ugly. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We don't need to talk about that kind of thing right now. Let's finish up talking about Maniac Mansion, a game that everybody's a big fan of. Are we big fans of it? Let's talk about it. Why don't you give your final thoughts and then your IGN rating for this one?
final thoughts and IGN rating. Yeah, so I gotta say I enjoyed this game a lot. Like this is like it looks good. I like the graphics. I don't know that we talked that much about it, but I did. I thought it looked fun. It looked silly. It looked neat, and I liked the vibes that it had. All of the fun B movie stuff. I thought that the puzzles were fun. It was not very often that I found myself in this situation. Like, almost always, I would quit because I was like, I don't really know where to go next. I have a couple of small ideas, and then it's like, okay, take some time off, come back to it. And when you come back to it, it's like, I in my head I've been playing around with more ideas and I kind of have a new place to go. So it wasn't really a situation where I ever really felt like I was just stuck. I thought all the different characters added a lot of fun variety. Um, again, another part of the reason probably why I got farther in the music thing than in the radio thing is because I thought Razor was more fun than Bernard. But like, yeah, there's just so much going on that's really enjoyable. The songs that you do get to play are really fun. Even though the game doesn't really have much in the way of a soundtrack. Um, the new system for putting in commands in general made it just easier to work with. Uh, yeah, overall, I had a good time with it. I was engaged and entertained. Um, I don't know if this is a continue for me now that I've learned the answers to some of the puzzles. I'm less entertained to go figure them out. But I will say, like, this is definitely a continue in general. Even before I give my score, because this is the kind of this is the kind of game that's just like, yeah, I'm never just feeling like I don't know what to do. The only thing to do is to just wander around and look at everything over and over and over again, right? Like it puts ideas in my head and I think about them, and that's good. I very much enjoyed this game. As for an actual score, let me see here. I mean, this is certainly in the eights for me, no question there. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I think so. I think so. I think my
Wow.
final score for Maniac Mansion, I am. You know what? Mansion. I'm gonna put you on the same level as another double M, and I'm gonna give you an 8.4, the same score I gave Mega Man.
Wow. Wow. Maniac Mansion, MM, flip it around. Wicked Witch.
Nobody likes that when you
No,
do
that's
that.
a reference that's already no one knows what the fuck that means.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true. Nobody liked it when they did know what that meant too.
Yeah, that will age like milk and become cottage cheese. Yum yum.
Hmm.
Uh, Here's a fun note. This game was at some point ported to the NES, and one of the big, well, I mean, the NES version was criticized because Nintendo made them heavily censor it. You could not microwave a hamster in the NES
Boo.
version. Actually, you could at first, then they realized it and they caught it and took it out. But the NES version did add music, background music. And that is one area where I'm like, man, I think my feeling playing this game would be so elevated just by having some fun background music, because it does feel a little empty walking around this house in silence. And you said something else that triggered a thought in my head, but I guess just the general, you're talking about the game putting ideas in your head and things like that. And I do think, yes, the graphics and the variety of rooms, the layout of the house itself are all well done. And the rooms are very interesting to look at. Even when you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, they have weird stuff in them. They have weird characters doing odd things that makes it fun to explore. So I think, yeah, it deserves credit for that. Anyway, my rating of this game. I like this game too, but you compared it to Mega Man, and I think it's a very similar dynamic between the two of us, because I kind of felt the same way here. Where in Mega Man 1, which we played last season, I felt like I can see that this is not I know that Mega Man 2 is way better. And I'm seeing we're not quite there yet. It's still a little rough around the edges. And that's how I feel about Maniac Mansion. It's just not quite at the level of what I love about these games. The puzzles I don't think are as good. The story is certainly not. Even for the time, it was really cool to have cutscenes and stuff, but what's the character of like Dave doesn't have a character, Sandy doesn't have a character. The Edisons are funny and they look cool, but they're not really characters. Like they just kind of are weird to look at. Even like Bernard and Razor, as fun as they are, they're just sort of they're a little
Mhm.
bland. And I think the game the reason that is a problem for me is the nature of the multiple character system, which I think is neat. And it's cool that they went for that, and it gives the game a little more replay value. But I think it hurts the storytelling because when you don't know what characters the player's going to pick, you can't really tell a story with those characters. You have to make something that kind of slots into whatever they happen to be doing at the time. And frankly, I think that kind of hurts the puzzles a little bit too. I prefer a more linear thing where the designers are like, these are not necessarily linear, like maybe the order could be different or whatever, but I prefer to have the designers make the puzzles that I should solve and make them all really good, as opposed to kind of this hodgepodge of, well, if you're this character, you do this, and that's kind of okay, or you can do this, and that's sort of okay too, or maybe you'll do this. I like a more curated experience, I guess. So those things do hurt this game a little for me. Now, I love the aesthetic and of also the humor of it, and the fact that this was the first game to do the verbs and the pointing and clicking and all of that. I can't deny any of that, but I don't. I think if I'm really being honest with myself, I can't go as high as an 8. And I think I'm gonna land this one at 7.9.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's funny because you opened that up by saying that I compared it to Mega Man, and I was like, I guess superficially, and you were like, yeah, and I'm on the same page, and I'm like, what? How? What? In what way is the like? I would have been like, yeah, I mean, these games are completely and totally different in every way. They just happen to hit a similar level of enjoyment. But I do hear exactly what you're saying. That like. For me, I'm like, this is something that I enjoy and I don't have a lot of experience with it, so I'm really liking my first taste. And for you, you're like, this is something I really enjoy and have a lot of experience with, and this is like the first. This is a rough draft. I hear what you're saying on that. That is pretty fair. I do think that the lack of a soundtrack is an issue. Like the I honestly, I was jamming out to that demo tape. I loved it. There should have been they could have made music for this. It would have slapped, I think. I think it definitely benefited me that I had that there. Yeah, so I mean that's exciting though because I know that you are gonna make me do more of these point and clicks whether I want to or not because you love them so much. So it's good to know that I am enjoying them at this
It is,
stage.
it is, it is very good to know because you didn't enjoy King's Quest. You
Right.
really didn't enjoy any of them up to this point, really.
Yeah, all the
I
text
mean,
adventures were just like, God, I wish this was good. And
yeah,
King's Quest was like, no, meh, meh. But
and
this one
I'm with,
works.
and it does hurt me a little not to give this an 8 because
Mhm.
I did give King's Quest an 8. I liked King's Quest. And I think it's because maybe it's sort of I'm having your experience because I wasn't as familiar with Sierra games, and so for me I was like, oh, this King's Quest thing is cool, and I don't know I got more on the game's wavelength of what it was trying to do, and here it's hard for me not to just go, man, Day of the Tentacle, that's a
Mhm.
fucking fun game. That does everything right, and this game is just like it's not doing those, it's not
Mm.
quite hitting those marks that I know they can hit.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, like if I had, because like I said, this was, I think this among all their games just is aged a little more poorly as far as the like 90s. I guess this one's 80s, so that's why.
Mm.
I guess I
Mhm.
really like the 90s period of adventure
Mm.
games. But maybe if I had, as a kid, when I discovered these games, done Maniac Mansion first, when I was playing this, I did get a kind of fake nostalgia for the types of games I would play as a kid in the computer lab, or like I'd download some weird demo or some game I had as a kid on my home computer that I'd never really understood, and I didn't have a guide and we didn't have the internet, so I would just kind of like play the first 2 levels forever over and over again. But because I was a dumb little kid, my imagination made it seem like the possibilities are endless. This incredible game with all these things you can do. If I had had Maniac Mansion as a kid, my nostalgia factor probably would blow this game through the roof, and I'd be singing its praises.
Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that. Did you ever try to fuck the tentacle?
Okay.
I went over there. I was like spamming turn on for tentacle. I was trying push and pull in alternation. I ship razor and tentacle is what I'm saying.
All right. We didn't talk about the specific verbs, like, are the ones they chose the best ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is weird. There were a lot of times where I was just like, I don't really know why this is fix instead of use or use instead of fix. I sometimes used that as a cheat where I was like, I'm not allowed to use this with anything for some reason. It won't pop up with. Let's try to fix it or something because that always lets me do with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it was definitely, I don't know if they were great.
Yeah, you'll see them pare that down more and more until eventually there's no text; it's just a cursor. But yeah, like, open and close could be one thing.
Yeah,
As could push and pull.
Unlock could just be with open, where if you have the
Yep.
key, it opens, and if you don't, turn on and turn off could be use.
Yep, 100%. I mean, walk to doesn't need to be there at all because it defaults to walk to. So
Yeah,
like you never click walk to, you just click. So like they were too scared. They were like, we need more words. People need these words. They got to know. Or maybe part of it even was to make the puzzles more complex. They're like, if we have too few verbs, then it'll be too easy. They'll know which thing to do.
Yeah, you did. There were things with the recordings where you had to like turn it off before you could take the cassette out, type of thing.
Right.
Which is it's more just annoying than it is complicated. But
let's go to Retro Review Corner real quick. I do have a review here from Mean Machines magazine, which was a review specifically of the NES port of the game, which I thought might be interesting, give us a little perspective about the differences between these versions. Because I think the NES version of this game, in spite of the censorship, is widely considered a pretty good port. And they say in this review here, Maniac Mansion works along almost identical lines to Shadowgate. I don't know if you're familiar with Shadowgate.
No, I have no idea what this is.
This is another sort of point and click kind of adventure game. They say, but the difference between the two is massive. Where Shadowgate was frustrating, obscure, unrewarding, and dull, Maniac Mansion is easy to operate, lively, addictive, and thoroughly entertaining. Presentation is superb. Some of the cut screens are really funny. And the puzzles are all very nicely thought out. There are no death without warning situations. So you're encouraged to experiment and explore. Funny because I kind of love Shadowgate, but it is like the opposite of this. It's a game where you just are like trying stuff and it's very spooky and you die all the time. But people were pretty happy with this port. Now there's another review here from Compute magazine, Compute with an exclamation point, because they were excited about it. And this is a review of the OG version, probably on the Amiga. And I kind of want to read this whole review in full, but it's pretty long, so I'm not gonna. But I'm gonna read some of it. So bear with me, but it's entertaining.
I'm barren.
Here we go. Quote, there's these 3 teenagers, see, and their friend Sandy got kidnapped by this insane doctor who has her locked up in his mansion and plans to suck her brains out, and so they're going inside to rescue her. We all know the plot of this movie. Each kid stupidly goes somewhere alone, and just when the music gets really tense, the kid gets offed with a hatchet or a shish kebab skewer. Or the others find him or her with the top inch of a number 2 pencil sticking out of his or her eye. The only way to keep from throwing up is to laugh at the absurdity of it all. It was not always so. Once there was a whole spate of genuinely funny horror comedies at which you laughed because of good writing and intentionally comic acting. Now, if there's any storytelling art with less good comedy than horror films, it's computer games. Most of the humor is written at the 13-year-old level, favored by computer hackers. You know, hilarious bits like a sign that says, "Troll Bridge, stop, pay troll." Computer dumb, as I call these quips, is full of word plays and literalisms, all designed by and for people who think the Xanth books and Hitchhiker's Guide are like a real gas.
I like this magazine.
So here comes Maniac Mansion from Lucasfilm Games, and I'm here to tell you folks, it's funny. Sure, it has some clunkers. Except for the recently released movie A Fish Called Wanda, I can't think of a comedy that doesn't have a few clunkers. Add that to the Patreon. But it also has funny bits that I still laugh at whenever I see them. There's also some sharp satire. For instance, when you turn on the TV, you get a close-up of a commercial for a company called Three Guys Who Publish Anything. I thought it was as funny as the best fake ads on Saturday Night Live. Though maybe you have to be in the literary business to really appreciate it. I'm gonna cut through to some of the end here. Are there weaknesses? Sure there are. The game sports a wonderful mouse-like interface that means you never have to type a word. Instead of moving the kids directly, you point the cursor. It's a great interface, except the IBM version didn't let me use my mouse. Moving from the cursor from the keyboard is maddeningly slow. And while I love the animation and the character switching, it takes forever to get all 3 kids to the same place in the house because they move separately. Why not a together command that makes all 3 kids follow the cursor? Still, the flaws are minor. Maniac Mansion is a compellingly good game. My kids logged dozens of hours on the game before I ever got to it, and has moments of well-written comedy. Just as important, though, the game designers at Lucasfilm are finding new ways to use the computer's power and to make computer games a valid storytelling art. Now, the reason I devoted so much time to reading so much of this review is because that review in Compute Magazine was written by Orson Scott Card, author of Ender's Game.
Holy shit. Man, earlier on I said I liked this magazine. Now I know why. Me and Orson Scott Card, we got a lot of opinions in common, the two of us. There's just a lot of things we agree on, you know?
Well, this is a Mormon podcast. I think people know
true,
that.
Yeah.
Mormon Mansion.
Please, the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Okay, fine. Whatever floats your boat. But man, what an insane Orson Scott Card, a guy who I've referenced on this show and others we've done, my love of the video game in Ender's Game, the fake video game. And
he learned about it from Maniac Mansion.
I mean, there is some of that, his whole adventure game kind of thing.
Damn.
There's some of that in there. Now, I do find it hilarious that he calls out the Hitchhiker's Guide books. Because I'm like, I don't really see much of a difference between the humor in that and this.
Well, I mean, it really is just a thing where I'm like, I like Hitchhiker's Guide, and I hate the rest of that nerd shit he's talking about. I do love the seething hatred of nerds in there, because I do hold to that too, except when I happen to like the same stuff they do. That's not real nerd shit. That's good stuff, right? The rest of the stuff I don't like, though. That's nerd shit.
Yeah, I don't know what is Xanth. Do you know what Xanth is?
I don't know what Xanth is.
Xanth.
I knew it was an X. There was no way that was a Z.
I've also never seen A Fish Called Wanda. Can't comment on it.
It's been like over 20 years since I saw A Fish Called Wanda. I would watch that again.
We'll definitely put it on the list. But I mean, maybe we already covered this, but I think it's worth restating that this, as you can see in this review, this Maniac Mansion was viewed as sort of a step forward of, wow, games can be like movies.
Mhm.
games can tell stories. I mean,
Yeah.
cut scenes. Like,
Yeah.
yes, we technically saw cutscenes like in Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. But this is really like real. There's scenes with characters who talk to each other with dialogue,
Yeah.
cutscenes.
Honestly, this is why I don't rate the game based on like my feeling of it and not based on the criteria, because I completely like that was a major part of it. The fact that this is like so story based and has all these, I mean, not story, but like because you brought that up, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like this is not just like I'm a guy in a game. Like there's characters and I'm watching them and it's cinematic. And I completely forgot to even bring that part up, but it still factors into my review anyway because like it contributes to how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
what's more
that's
important than our feelings?
it's an important part. That's what I'm rating on.
Um, Not much. We just have a minor mail opening this week as we head to the player mail. But we did get a few tips from people in regards to our Street Fighter 2 episode last week.
Hmm. I think we did ask for
Um,
him, or I did.
yeah, our friend John Solomon says there's the excellent series by Super Beard Bros
Ugh.
where fighting game guru Brett helps his co-host's wife Kelly learn how to play Street Fighter 6 from the ground up. She starts in a very similar position to you both, where she wants to be fluent in this kind of game, but has found it inaccessible or intimidating to know where to start. It's a series that jump-started my interest in fighting games, and I think is an invaluable resource to understanding the push and pull and the flow of these kinds of games. Even if you don't watch the whole thing, I think the first 2 episodes of the series are very instructive and insightful into understanding what makes fighting games tick and where some of the deeper nuance comes from. So this is a YouTube
Yeah.
series,
The
and which he
concept
links
of
to.
that, yeah, the concept of that is very interesting, and I think it would be more, um, I don't like. I would be more interested in it if you just posted a link and didn't tell me it was called Super Beard Bros, because I'm gonna pull an Orson Scott Card on that and be like, ugh, nerds, nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair.
But the
But who
concept is
knows?
interesting. Maybe it's good.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. There's 31 episodes of this series.
Yeah, but I only have to watch one or two.
You only have to watch 1 or 2. Also, Colin Zach over on Reddit had this left this comment. Said, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is an iconic, unbelievable game. It's also incredibly difficult and broken by most of today's standards. Street Fighter 6 has modern controls to help you get right into the action. I would start there, and once you get comfortable playing the game, it's actually more fun to go back and play Street Fighter 2 Turbo with the ability to perform special moves. So the message that I'm getting is Street Fighters 3, 4, and 5, like throw them out the window. There's no reason to play any Street Fighter besides whatever is the latest one and 2.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that.
this sounds like the classic thing that I has been brought up multiple times. This idea of like, listen, if you want Will to like video games, maybe you should start him on a more modern game that'll get him really into it, and then take him back to the old stuff that might be crappy. Which your response all the time to is,
Ooh.
yeah, you're always just like, yeah, but I want to play the old stuff. It's not all about Will. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, so
Ooh.
like,
No, it's about him. It is about him.
hmm,
It's about you.
hmm.
That
You
person
say that
didn't
on air.
understand. That's not a fan of the show. They didn't understand what
Right.
they were giving advice for like a real person, not someone who's doing a show about the history of video games.
Right. Is that what the show's about? I thought it was about me
I've
being not
said
good at
it a
them.
million times. A million times. It's about multiple things.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
It's
no matter what
it's
you said it was about, I was
all-encompassing.
going to respond the same way.
It's about everything and nothing. But I just think in this particular case, it's not like, Final Fantasy like 4 and 6 are good, and like nobody's like, oh yeah, Street Fighter 5. It's like I don't know, fuck that one. Like whatever's the new one, play that. Like nobody, because I do think
Mm.
most fighting games are more like Madden games in that way.
Hmm.
And maybe I'm wrong. People will tell me if you don't think this is right. But I just think there is like you play the first one or like the iconic one to kind of see what it was like. And then you go to the new one and nobody's like, oh yeah, Mortal Kombat 5. That was the good one. Like I just, Because it's like because the game, I think the format of these games is so rigid
Hmm.
that it's kind of just like, well, they just always get better. It's just like, well, they added more characters, they made the moves better, the graphics are better. There's no like, oh, that's the one with this mechanic, you know?
Yeah. I could see why that could not be true. Like perhaps there is a defunct mechanic that is iconic, or perhaps there is like they changed the character designs up and this was when this character's design was at its peak, or perhaps they introduced this character here and like you want to play the game where they introduce him because look you unlock him in single player and he's got a crazy entrance scene. I could see that being true, but I don't know enough about it to make the case that it is true in any fighting game ever. So I'll default to what you're saying here.
I mean, I can say from my Smash Brothers experience, of course, there are people who say Smash Brothers Melee is the best one. And but I think even those people wouldn't be like, oh yeah, go play that. I mean, maybe they would. There's a lot of fucking
Yeah.
Melee freaks out there that that do
I feel
love
like people like Melee because it has mechanics that got patched out because they weren't intended, and a regular player would like never interact with them. But because
Right.
they're super competitive, they're like, yeah, you got to play this one because how are you gonna fucking wave dash or whatever? And it's like, I'm not. Shut the fuck up. That's how. I mean, I will
Yeah.
give you this. One thing that Melee has over the modern incarnations of Smash Brothers, to me, somebody who doesn't play these games, is that um, uh, the vast majority of the characters in it are not just generic anime cutouts from Fire Emblem, right? Like looking at a roster and not seeing 50% anime character, that really means something to me.
Uh-oh. We're going to get some emails about this one. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is
Well, if
not
you
a
want
fight
to
you want to pick because I don't actually have any attachment to these games, so I'm just fighting you for fun, and you, writer, are getting furious and seething, so you probably should not waste your time.
Yeah, I'm on your side. Fuck Fire Emblem and fuck anime. Give me more. I want more anthropomorphic animal mascots from the 90s, god damn it.
Yes. Yes. It's not a sex thing. I just like them.
For
I
me, it's
think
a
they're
sex thing.
neat.
Only with Kazooie, though.
Mm.
And Banjo watches. And he is not loving it. All right. Let us know what you think about fighting games or Maniac Mansion or anything else video game related. Email us badwithgamespodcast@gmail.com or leave a comment on YouTube or what have you. We're also on Patreon. Very important. If you're a fan of the show, if you've listened to the end of this episode, then what are you waiting for? For $5 a month, you can get bonus episodes every week, plus early access to videos like our Street Fighter 2 gameplay, which patrons had a week early. Pretty cool. This week on our bonus episode, now I did sort of fuck up a little bit, to be truthful, because I didn't know that in advance that there was a TV show based on Maniac Mansion.
I should be skimming the opening paragraph of Wik, because the problem is I found that too, but only because I always skim Wikipedia right before the episode, so I know background details, but I don't want to spoil myself. But I should be doing it a week in advance so that I can call those things out.
Yeah. Apparently there's a Canadian show with Eugene Levy. I mean, this is my bad. I dropped the ball on this one. I should have had this. Now, I mean, we could pivot. We could, but it's a little late. And I mean, I just think it's probably too late, but maybe we'll put this on the list for the future. Maybe when we cover Day of the Tentacle, that's when we bring back this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There's always another opportunity. But since we did not know about that, we did a non-video game thing this week. We are going to be talking about System of a Down, the band System of a Down, which was active in the early 2000s.
Yeah, we're testing out taking a little break from movies and TV because that's all we've been doing recently. So
That's right. We're just going to be listening to some tunes.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, we'll rock out. We'll have a little jam sesh. Come join us. It'll be fun. It's only $5 a month.
Well, I love that. You really got into it. Also, follow us on Bluesky at Bad With Games, where I've started sometimes posting things.
Wow.
Is it? This is the problem. I think is it Bad With Games podcast?
I don't
Or is
know.
it just Bad With Games? No, it's just Bad With Games on Bluesky. That's right. We got that one. And you know what? If you don't want to pay us $5, I don't know, rate and review us on iTunes, make us feel better, whatever you want to do. Subscribe or some shit. I think that's it. Next week, we're back to running and or gunning as we play Konami's Contra from the same year, 1987, as Maniac Mansion, but a very different kind of thing. And I will venture a guess that this is probably going to be another one that we may want to play together and put out a bonus video for, because it is it's got co-op shooting. We can play together and shoot stuff together.
Wow.
I'm guessing we're going to do arcade. Well, maybe we'll play the NES version too. We'll figure it out. It's Contra.
Yeah, you let me know.
You excited?
I guess.
Okay. I was just wondering if you were or not.
Yeah, this is one of the less exciting ones on the list for me, but maybe I'll change my mind.
Well, yeah, we'll see. All right. Stay tuned next week. Till then, bye.